In Chechnya, detained gay people are forcibly sent to the front to fight against Ukraine. According to human rights activists from the SOS crisis group, Chechen security forces have begun forcibly sending detained homosexual men to the front in Ukraine. It is noted that they are being blackmailed into volunteering for the front. SOS is reliably aware of at least 7 such cases, in one of which a person died. According to our data, the schemes of forced dispatch to war began to operate even before the announcement of partial mobilization on September the 21st, 2022 in the Russian Federation. In early September of that year, 6 men were detained on suspicion of homosexual orientation. The publication says, "It is noted that gay men were threatened that a criminal case would be fabricated against them and they would be sent to a pre-trial detention facility to await sentencing, where information about their orientation would become known to their cellmates. As an alternative, the men were offered to pay a ransom or volunteer to fight in the war against Ukraine. In the end, 3 of the detainees were forced to agree to volunteer, as the ransom amount was too much for their families. In particular, the security forces extorted 1.5 million rubles, approximately $16.4 thousand. One of the volunteers died at the front. The arrests continued the following year. In 2023, several representatives of the LGBTQ+ community were detained during one of the raids. The girls were handed over to relatives that evening, and 4 guys were forced to go to Ukraine. Their further fate is unknown, the resource writes. Let us recall that while the occupiers are shooting Ukrainian prisoners, Russia is not taking back its seriously wounded soldiers, although Kiev is ready to give them up even without an exchange. According to Irina Krynina, a representative of the Ukrainian public movement I Want to Find, all that is needed for this is a request from the Russian side. Ukrainian military expert Ivan Kirishchevsky believes that Ukraine needs to develop its own long-range strike system to reach Russian strategic airfields. Even if we were given permission, we would not be able to reach the Russian strategic aviation airfields with ATACMS missiles. To strike Engels, Sabaslika, or the Olenia military airfield near Murmansk, we need longer-range weapons or must develop our own long-range system. ATACMS will not reach these targets, Kirishchevsky said on Espresso TV. According to the military expert, instead of complaining that the Americans are not providing enough weapons, we should focus on raising our demands. We need to concentrate our efforts on obtaining Tomahawks to uphold world order. We don't demand Tomahawks, we are wasting energy without achieving concrete results, Kirishchevsky added. Recall, to attack Ukrainian cities far from the front, the Kremlin uses strategic bombers and fighter jets stationed deep inside Russia, along with ground launchers closer to the border. With a US ban on missile strikes deep inside Russia still in place, to minimize Russia's capacity to launch mass attacks, Ukraine is forced to employ domestically produced drones to target airfields and launch sites. Over the past year, Ukraine has managed to substantially Peter Layton, Associate Fellow at the Royal United Services Institute and former Australian Air Force officer, told. However, despite successfully making some Russian airfields unusable, Russia has plenty more. Russia operates 42 airfields, including those in Belarus and the occupied Crimean Peninsula, with 28 of them able to station strategic bombers and fighter jets, retired military officer and defense expert Viktor Kevliuk told. Russia still has over 1,000 warplanes at its disposal, according to the Military Balance 2024 overview, and numerous airfields still out of Ukraine's reach. Ukraine carried out at least 5 strikes on Russian airfields in August, which were confirmed to the Kyiv Independent by a military intelligence source familiar with Kyiv's operations on Russian soil.